actually stating that you don't want to be on that day, you're available. So I would put, instead of an X, put just a check mark.
Oh, okay.
Okay?
Yes
Because
or no.
Corey was
One
asking that.
slash instead of two.
Yeah.
Or yes or no.
Or yes or
Yes or
no.
no.
You know, just make it easy for them so that there's no mistakes. So I'm gonna show you. Well, while we're talking about it, let's just do it real quick. So let me get this screen. So when you go into the web-based lead perfection, how many people have access to this? Okay, if you don't have access to it, let me know. I'll show you how to get that. It's basically sl84.leadperfection.com. You'll go in, you'll set up the sales side, and then you're going to put in your lead perfection username and password.
What's that again?
It says right here, sl84.leadperfection.com.
Thank you.
So mine's already pretty well set up. So when you go in here, what you're going to find is you have actually some really good access. I don't have a whole lot, but if you go into sales, click on that, you can see your schedule, personal calendar. So if I go in and I look at my schedule, I can actually see the days that I am scheduled to work this week, meaning that I'm available to run appointments. So if you ever have any questions and want to make sure that your schedule is what you sent in, this is a great place to go. So you can see your whole month. You can do week to week, check, just double check, make sure it's correct. If you need to be off, so this is where it's coming up. Sometimes people are telling me, hey, I had put in for this day, or I had asked if I could have this day off after I turned in the calendar. Something came up. I'm very good about trying to accommodate as much as I can, but if you're telling me the day of, I was supposed to have today off, it's a little hard if the call center has already assigned appointments and you have to run those appointments. If I can't get someone to switch or someone to take those appointments, then basically they're yours. So you got to run them, okay?
You should basically, by the probably 20th of the month after you submit by the 15th, you should go in, it's your responsibility to double check your schedule, okay? And make sure there's no mistake before the first happens. We buy our advertising. When we submit the schedule, that dictates how much advertising we buy, right? So if you're on the schedule, we're depending on you because you said you've been working that schedule. There's no, oh, by the way, it's unless you get somebody to cover your spot, we're getting too big now. And when we're going to be adding layers in, we're getting too big to be screwing, maneuvering stuff the last second. You do have a self-gen or something, and like you're setting a self-gen up, let Mark or I know, like, days in advance. Don't just, hey, I set up a self-gen for tomorrow morning at 2, or for tomorrow at 2. That makes it really tough if we're already booked. If you can call up and say, hey, I just tomorrow look at 2, I've got something I want to go see, then we can look real quick and check it out. But again, that's part of running the schedule, and that, again, they're getting ready to crank the dial up on both sides, so therefore we should be seeing an influx. So just be careful of that.
Yeah, you good?
The username and password, you got it? Because you're already auto logged into the other one? How do you figure that out?
I'll have to do that one off.
This uses the same information that's in the app, right? Under availability.
So this is not necessarily, I mean, it is in a sense. You should be able to go into your LP on your iPad, the app. This just gives you more information. So what I like about this, you can actually see a full week, whereas I think in the app, you actually have to click on each day to be able to see if you're available or not. This at least allows you to see it real quickly. So good good glance. The other things that I found that are really good, so I've had a lot of folks ask me about how do I track my appointments or my customers. So if I made a sale, if you go to, and I went too quick, so my tracking log right here, you just click on that, brings you to this. Then all you do is just click on the job number. And that's going to give you some information, kind of the background and everything. But if you want to know what's going on currently with the situation, like if you want to know who your installer in this situation, you got an installer, you got who was it measured by. So a lot of times if you want to know who your measure tech is going to be, you go to this, but if they've already scheduled a measure, the name should arrive. Should be in the system. If you want to know who the installer is, it'll tell you who the primary installer, so the lead installer is going to be. If there's 2 leads, then they'll add both of them. Job sheets, work orders. So if there's anything going on, let's say there's a work order. So a lot of times people are, why is it being held up? How come I'm not getting paid the back? You know, there might be something going on, and you can see that in a work order. So there's some good information you can see here. Let's see here, job sheet. Same thing. A lot of times you'll get work orders, so your construction department. So a lot of information coming in. You can see the communication, who is it coming from, who's been communicating back and forth. A lot of times the homeowners are involved with this. I'm trying to remember some of these. Invoice.
Does every job have an invoice?
Not everyone. Job summary, how much has been paid, things like that. Financing, which is up at the top. There's financing, green sky, how much was being financed, 36 months with their limit. So all this information is here for you. So all you got to do is just, if you can go into that SL88 Lead Perfection, you can look at every one of your projects and kind of get a good feel where you're at. And so if there's any issues going on, this is how you're going to be able to track it. You can do this. This is what Norma, a lot of times when you ask her, where's my project? A lot of times this is what you're going to go to, right? Something very similar to that. Now, I think you get a lot more information, but this is good for you, at least out in the field, to know where your projects are at. Any questions on that other than the passcode? Okay.
Does it show like installation dates or that it was installed or?
No, it's really, yeah, you can track your jobs through it.
Yep. Yeah, you should be able to get with the installation date.
Well, Kate can answer all that too.
Well, no, I know, but rather than bunker every time.
Oh, no, you can sit for hours to go through your jobs. It's awesome.
It is. Yep. It is. All right. So unless there's any other questions or one-offs, I'll address those one-on-one. The other thing, just to let you know, so we've been kind of going on the assumption that unless we're told otherwise, that certain finance plans are still available. So like the 36 months, no interest, fixed principal payment, no longer on. So not available, okay? So the options,
Really?
So it's there, but not.
it's there. So is the 24 months, same as cash. Neither one of those are available since this morning.
Oh.
So basically, we got our hand slapped, stating that it is not a legitimate promotion. We are not to use it. That promotion had ended at the end of last month, but we continue to push it. So we try to run with it as long as we could, figuring until they told us otherwise, what they've told us.
You run into a situation where you absolutely need it, you need to call me, and I'll make a quick shot over. I've got Kelly right on my cell phone, so I got her cell phone, I've got my cell phone, I'll call and get approval. Why is it?
There you go. So one-offs would be good. So it's unfortunate, but it is. So you got the 5.99s, and you do have either 6 months or 12 months, same as cash. Those are basically your options in PACE program. You also have Wells Fargo. So we have, I mean, there's different options, but for now, don't use the 36 months, even though it still shows it, and don't use the 24 months unless you contact Dustin and get approval.
Also, I don't know who's using for security, but I've actually used them a couple times in the last couple weeks. And as of August 1st, the 4.99 for 120 is no longer available. They do have one that's 96, but it's a different multiplier. So
okay.
I let Lindsay know that, so she corrected that. I don't know if she's going to get us updated, but if you guys can cross that off on your little sheet that you guys have, the 120 is not offered anymore.
And who has a breakdown of your finance options? So Dana, it's the one with the green bars. So you should have Green Sky, should say Wells Fargo, and it should say Cal First. If you don't,
I'm getting ready to take out a new financial partner for financing that has some better interest rates and different things like that going around there. So.
Next
story
month?
may continue.
Okay.
Yeah, maybe if we could just get the zero.
I'll get her to send out a new one for those that don't have it.
That would probably be.
And then we'll update first as well. Make sure we take out 36 months. Any questions, anything? All right. Back to Dustin. Thanks, guys.
Put a health ticket in your round. I'm asking to reset your password. All right, with that said, by popular demand, we have a new Renew financial rep. So let me go ahead and take a second and introduce him. Come on, Chad. Get up here, my man.
To renew our relationship with them.
Yeah, Ryan will finally sell some Cal First again. That's it.
So I got some things for you guys. All right.
Well,
Thanks, sir.
my friend.
Thank you. How you guys doing?
Good.
Good. So I appreciate Dustin and Mark having me, and it's great to meet you guys. My background is actually in sales, so I sold solar door to door for about a year, in home sales for 3 years total, and then I owned an artificial grass company for 2 years. So everything you guys go through in the home, I always tell everybody I'm not a finance guy, I'm a sales guy. So I understand what you're going through on a daily basis, in the home. So when you need something to get approved, completely get it. With that said, I understand there's a time and place for PACE. So for example, when I sold solar, I generally led with an unsecured product. And then when the time was right, I did sell PACE. I sold a lot of Cal First actually in the home. So what do you guys, who's never heard of PACE or Cal First? Anybody? Everybody familiar with it? Okay, perfect. So is there any challenges that you guys are experiencing right now with PACE, Cal First specifically, that I can help with? We've made a lot of changes over the last 6 months. So with our operations, we had the wrong people in place last year. So we had mortgage people actually in our underwriting process. So things were taking much longer than they should. So now we have everything in place. We're actually getting approvals within about an hour for you guys as far as NTP. So I do have something for Ryan and one more person actually. You sold the most amount of Cal First with us. So here's a backpack for you, sir.
Oh, wow.
All right, congratulations.
Yeah, look at
Scott Walker?
Not here.
Not here.
that.
So,
You don't want to raise that.
water bottle for me. So I do have on the table for you guys to pass them out. Does anybody not have one of these laminated sheets? Get one for you. Anybody else? Is that it? So hopefully this helps you guys in the home. So just really simple. You can show this to the homeowner if you like. The way I was explained it was, shows up as a line item on your property tax bill. You can repay it through there. So you can show this to them. Also on the back, on the other side, it shows eligibility as far as if you guys have any quick questions about that. Also, you can call me, call the call center, whatever you guys need. Please save my number. And then also, anybody that's not PACE certified, I can get with you, Dustin, as far as the roster. Unfortunately, you can't even talk about PACE legally unless you're PACE certified, with us. If you have it through another partner, then you just need to upload it. I can help you guys with that. So.
What's your last name, Chad?
It's Raber, R-A-B-E-R.
So anyone that rolls in this now doesn't pay anything until July of next year, like the ones.
Well, it's November 1st, 2020. So it depends on how they pay their property tax, whether it's once a year, twice a year, or through their impound account, escrow account. So if it's through their impound account, then the best thing to do, I did this for years. I just told the homeowner, hey, do me a favor, as soon as your project's complete, call your mortgage company, let them know this assessment's going to be on there, and they'll break it down to monthly charges for you. So that way there's no surprises in November. Does that make sense?
So if they're impounded, they have to actually reach out to their lender.
They do, correct. So Cal First, what we do is we actually we contact them on completion. We contact them in the spring, also in the fall, to let them know we have a lot of different touch points with them as far as postcards, phone calls. So that way there's no surprises for them because we don't want to upset the customers.
He was also smart enough to tell me that, last guy told me we should be using them first sometimes. And he's smart enough to know that, FTDs and in certain circumstances where he realizes their niches. So again, he's there to help, and I actually, from sitting down with him for about an hour and a half, I believe, I have a lot of confidence that if you're in the house, he's going to be able to help and be available by phone most of the time that we need him. So, with that, to be respectful, I think we got a young one at home, right? But
I got a couple.
he's-
We have 5.
I give vouch for that. He was very accepting when I called you the other day.
Good. Yeah, like I said, I've sold in-home, so I know what you guys go through. I know when you need help, you need it now. So, I mean, I was texting people at 11 p.m. the other night, so it's whatever it takes to help you guys get the deal. Just keep in mind the call center does close at 9 p.m. So if you are doing like a late deal, just give me a heads up. That way we can call the call center to do the verification call, because that's something unfortunately I can't do for you guys because it's on a recorded line. But I can make them stay a little bit, the loan processors, if you need to, and then we could do a 3-way call. We just gotta work it a little different.
It's possible other people know this, but I don't really know why we would use that and what the process is to even get started using it.
Yeah.
Necessarily, do you guys use it?
Twice.
Well,
Offers?
honestly, it's usually the last resort.
Sure.
So why would you use it?
If
Somebody has really
credit
bad
right now,
credit, and they're gonna be in a home for a really long time, and it has 5% equity.
They can find 4 to 5 years.
But
But
they
you can
haven't
finance up to
defaulted in
50.
2 years on their mortgage.
But you would find that when you're in the actual sale, they'll say my credit sucks,
No.
or you wait until they get,
usually when you get a credit turned down,
that's when you do.
yeah, where it's like, hey, look,
And then you try
we tried green sky, it's not gonna work.
You call them back, so it's after.
Cindy, here's
So
what
you
we
got
can
one,
do,
but-
here's what we can do to set you up for success, is we'll have him do a small training course over the showroom one morning, just to let you know, because it's not only for that, but if somebody doesn't want to show debt, basically they're one of the customers that don't want to show debt, but they've got equity inside the house, and that can be used for that also. There's,
Right.
Credit challenge, but they have lived in their house a long time, and sometimes that's a good thing. A younger guy or female who inherited their house from their mother-in-law or mother, then literally would have some equity built into that, but might not have the credit or the income status going into it. So there's tons of aspects where you can use it, but it's situational. So you want
Does
to
it not hit the
Yeah.
credit as the same way as?
Not on credit at all.
It doesn't.
So do you have to run credit though? Do you get it?
Soft pull.
Soft in. Oh.
Yeah, it used to be a hard pull about
Wow,
2
I
years
could've
ago.
used that.
Now it's a soft pull. So for me in solar, the best thing I did was as far as transitions, because you got a credit fail, it's this negative thing. Right now they're bummed out because you've been talking about this for 15, 20 minutes. And now the transition I was always really good at. So what I always did was, hey, I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you heard about this or not. There's actually some government supported programs. I'm not sure if it's in your area or not. Let me guys ask you, do you guys have any equity in the home? Most people do. So I would say, perfect. Well, it's still, do you guys always take a deposit or do you do no money down? Deposit?
Yeah.
Okay. So we got a fixed rate, true fixed rate. Great thing is you can repay it through your property taxes and it doesn't even show up on your credit report whatsoever. Let's see if we can get you approved. So you can do the approval. Yep.
The other thing I noticed on a deal that I put through recently, as long as you have room in the deal, you can actually buy down the rate, and make it like an attractive, like at least a apples to apples monthly payment comparison
You
to
do down
what
like
retail.
5.99.
Actually,
Yeah, you're like 3.9 or
4.19. So
4.19.
7.69 no dealer fee, 4.19 with a 20% dealer fee. But you
We've
just
got
gotta
to
make
make
sure
sure
you
yield in, don't we?
Well, yeah, as long as you
Yeah.
you have the fuel
It'd
cabin.
be 20 plus 8.
That's nothing.
Yeah. So if you're doing a
Yeah, if
20,
you get somebody
25,
on pace, you can crank up the sale now.
Yeah.
Real fast.
yeah, you guys, I was looking at your guys' pipeline. You've done some large projects with CalFirst. And that's the nice thing about with us is you could do some really large projects. And it doesn't show up on their credit report.
What's the limit?
It's max 250, 250,000.
Okay.
Lowest $5 grand. Yeah.
Great.
You guys have any other I have a whole training, so anybody that wants more information or maybe a refresher on this, I'm more than happy to spend like 30, 45 minutes with you guys, you know, whether that's one-on-one or whatever you guys need.
Not for this. It's hard.
Oh, also, I have one more thing for you guys.
Percentage of the amount that they're borrowing, right, you know, so you don't really need that. I mean, even just pricing it normal on here, you've got like an extra 2%, because, you know, for 20% plus the, you're actually spending 33%. So you have a little bit of room just.
Welcome call, if you guys like, kind of helps.
It's really streamlined, so you've got a couple of places you can play with. Or if you pad it, you know, or you just like, okay, just a little bit of a premium or something like this, boom, and then you can buy it down. But it's long as, because the deal with the gal is she got turned down and she was settling for the payment, and it's like, well, let me look and see what I can do. And it's like, I was able to go back to renew, and I was able to get the same term, the same monthly payment, but it was a lower rate because there was, you know, so at the end of the day, thank you. Look, we were able to continue to say, yeah, but that's nothing to do with us. Okay. Yeah, that's nothing to do with us. Yeah. They got money built into the financing.
So this guy's,
Charges that we're charging on.
guys, this right here for you, just a little tool for you. If you want to use it, great. If not, then that's okay. But basically, this is to prep your homeowner for the verification call. So one little heads up is they do say the word voluntary lien. Okay, they do say that. So if you've never mentioned that in the sales process at all when you're talking about PACE, it may be a little red flag. So I don't know if you guys know the difference or not between a voluntary and involuntary. Involuntary is the bad type of lien. Don't pay a contractor. They put a lien on your home. Those hurt your borrowing power. So with this is a voluntary lien. So that way it shows up as a special assessment, just like on the property tax bill right now as a line item. So that's how that works. So for the verification call, you have total cost of project and then the total amount to be financed. So that includes the one-time closing costs. That can be found in the cost breakdown on the calculator. Is everybody familiar with the calculator? All right, cool. If anybody wants any additional training with the calculator, I'd be happy to help.
Is the voluntary lien pretty much like when you sign up for solar? They're gonna do the same things.
Solar generally use CC1. So voluntary lien, it does show up, you know, as a first position. So it
But
does
it's attached to the home.
attach to the home.
It leaves with the home if you sell the home. So
Yeah.
it's not on the individual person.
Good question. So I have all that like in a whole slide deck, but if you sell the home, you have three options. So prior, you can pay it off prior to escrow, you can roll it into escrow, or you can transfer it to the new homeowner. So those are the three options you actually could do with us. Most of the time, when they're transferring it, the new lender wants it paid off. About 80% of the time, they do. Just FYI.
80%.
Yeah, they want it paid off.
Only 80.
Only 80. That's it.
I'm surprised there's 20.
Yeah, surprisingly, there are some.
Wow.
So, do you guys have any questions for me? I'm just excited to be working with you guys. And then please save my number. I'll help anybody that needs to get PACE certified. That way, you guys can sell it in the home for you.
What's that process?
It's about 5 to 10 minutes. You got to take 2 little tests.
5 to 10 minutes to get certified?
Correct.
You need to-
You need to probably come in on the training too, get I appreciate you, my man.
Thank you.
Give him a round of applause.
Appreciate it. Thank you. Is that yours or is that mine?
That's yours. There you go.
Oh, yeah. Go ahead.
All right, so real quick before we get into today's, oh, thanks, brother. Before we get into today's message, all right. So, all right, Mark, you did the basically number dialect on RPL and all that stuff, right? For Top Gun Award?
I did.
He's questioning.
No question, I'm just making sure. Trust you, verify.
This person? I check, double check,
I don't know how the hell tomorrow went. That's what I'm just kidding. No, it's not that bad. Just kidding.
It was close.
The checks will clear.
Yeah.
First, second, third, it was pretty close.
Yeah, they're all spot on. All right, real quick, first off, Signature Service Award, July. To the person that I think started to blow our social media up and do a great job with her new customers and her past customers, not to mention communication with the project managers in the back end, Miss Dana Dorr.
Thank you. Nice, thank you.
Next, this is a very close race. Obviously, Ryan basically was on vacation and popped through with some large orders. Basically had 180 on the board right through there for last month. Did a smoking good job. Sean came back like a wildfire. Basically coming back from his vacation and finished in the month extremely strong. Cynthia, caught fire early and stayed on fire the entire month. So again, all three of you
I was on
guys.
vacation too.
Yeah, all three of you guys, and she had vacation too. All three of you guys deserve a round of applause. But there can only be one winner. And that winner is for the month of July, Sean.
No wonder you had to double check it.
I did. I had a double and triple check.
Steve, Burgers in paradise.
Congratulations, man. Here's your, take the box, please. There we go. Good job. All right. Before we roll into this, I want to tell you guys about a little story that happened to me on Saturday. I was talking to a guy that I used to train. I got him into the business about 17 years ago. And he called me and he's like, hey, what are you doing? He's asking me about, he started his own little branch of a company. He's asked me about, insurances on home show displays. He goes, hey, I've been doing something on one parties that's working really well. Would you want to hear it? I'm like, well, duh. I said, yeah. This guy, consistently writes, he wrote for me, $2 million plus a year. And that was slinging vinyl windows back in the day. So that's a hell of a lot of volume on that aspect. Now he's got a bathroom side of the business that he's opening up into there. And he goes, what I found is I'll go meet with the homeowners. And, one thing we teach the reps here, we don't want to waste their time because obviously if they waited around all day long and we just show in and we're doing nothing but trying to reschedule the appointment, they're going to hate our guts, right? I said, absolutely, yeah. I think you learned that somewhere, right? I said, so again, when we walk around, we take the measurements, we get some of the details that they're looking to do. And what we do is nobody wants to reset for you. They want to reset it because it's because of them and it's something that's going to benefit them, right? So WIFN does, and that's what you should share and yell at me all the time, right? What's in it for me? He goes, what we do is we act like we're doing them a favor. We say, hey, you know what? We've got a special promotion that's going. I know that your husband and wife couldn't be there. We got a special promotion that starts next week. So rather than price you out off the old promotion and set us up because there is that cost savings program or the initial visit savings that I can only get to you on the time of the appointment. But if we wait till next week to go ahead and finish the appointment, knowing your wife couldn't be here, your husband couldn't be here anyways, then we can offer you that special promotion. I think it's going to benefit you, get your cost down there as low as it's ever going to get. Would you like us to do that for you? Mm-hmm. And then what happens is they're setting on their second rate 100% and almost at a 60% closing rate. So I wanted to share that away, which I thought was a fantastic piece of information to set up. Because again, it makes it about what the benefit for the customer is, not what the benefit for you is, right? Not just about the initial visit savings, it's about a promotion that's coming out next week. And I feel like if you're trying to get the best value for your dollar, here's what that is. And then they keep selling that next appointment through there because that's your job, right? It's a yes or a no or a date and time for the next appointment. So again, that's setting yourself up for success on that. I thought that was a great story to share.
Are they inviting you back into a showroom or going back out to the house?
He's going back out to the house. They're going right back out to the house. Matter of fact, they don't even have a showroom. So,
Does he have a strategy for finding out ahead of time that everybody's not there?
no, homeowners play the same tricks everywhere. Yeah, they play the same tricks everywhere. Homeowners have gone to homeowner school. They figured some things out.
Just really, really like, are you sure there's nobody else?
Yeah, I teach you guys to close. They teach you to basically go into that. Is all decision makers or all interested parties available here today? That's what we should be asking. Yeah, straight up. When you get in the house, as basically you sit down, you're warming up. Let me just ask you a question because, obviously we're going to spend a little bit of time talking about what you want, what you need, take it around, do a full assessment down there, pick out designs, colors, choices, things like that. So let me ask you, are all decision makers that have interest in the party, are they available here today, or is it somewhere it's going to be multiple trips? And I like to ask that in the very beginning because then it takes it out of their mouth again, because I find that out, just like any objection, I want to get ahead of it, right? If I can reverse engineer it or you can get ahead of it, then it's not going to come and punch me at the end of it. But if I don't get ahead of it, then it's going to come and bite me right in the tail at the end.
And then at that point, if they mention somebody else.
You still don't want to waste their time.
Right.
So you want to do something and show action, right? If you stayed at home all day, so you took off the day and you stayed at home to wait for the heating and air conditioning guy, says, and he goes, yeah, then basically, hey, your significant other isn't here, your kid's not here, whatever's going to help make the decisions not here. Well, I'm not going to do anything today. I'm going to call you. Need to get them here, and then I'll come back and visit with you.
Mm-hmm.
You'd be like, screw you, buddy. So again, we want to basically set the perception and protect the San Diego's best thing. So we got to make sure, again, we're getting ahead of that. Yes.
And then you don't get into any conversation about money at all.
No.
It happened to me last week.
No, and then tell them if you set up at the beginning of this, say, you know what, generally we like to run our appointments work two different ways. Okay, so number one, this looks like a little more detailed project than what we're generally dealing with. So generally a second visit up, let me tell you how that's going to benefit you anyways. Next week, we have a special promotion that's coming out. I think you're going to be absolutely in love with, and you definitely want to get the cost down as low as you can, right? So here's what we're going to do today. We're going to take we're going to take measurements of everything, kind of look at what needs to be done. Then we come back the second time, we'll finalize the detail on that. And then at that time, we'll be able to give you the investment for what it's going to be. And let me show you how that's going to benefit you too, right? Normally give 3 different investments. Because of this project, I'm not able to do that today. So when I move the appointment in the schedule, it still allows me to give you what we call a cost savings program. Let me show you how it's going to benefit you, right?
Well, what should you
So
say?
what would your advice be to that situation where now the high speed, he works all the time, he's not going to be involved no matter what, it doesn't matter when we reschedule it.
So I would just say this, so he left the decision up to you then? Is 100% your decision?
No, I still got to discuss it, but he just doesn't want to sit there and sales.
Okay, well then let's get the boring stuff out of the way first, and then we set back down and just be finalizing the details of the money, and I'm sure that's what he's interested in anyways, right?
Working towards that part.
That's what I would do.
Okay.
Let's get the boring stuff out of the way. He's not going to hear now. And then when we sit back down, we'll go over the important stuff, which is the money. And that sounds like something he'd be interested in too, right? So just sometimes it's not going to work. Sometimes it will. But again, you figure out ways to sell it, because especially if you don't have the decision makers there, you're dead in the water anyways. Because again, that B-back bus doesn't, makes you go broke. So we want to make sure we're doing all the things that allow us to be successful in the house. But I heard that over the weekend and thought that was like, damn. I was like, that's really good because it's so true, right? Set back. Common sense isn't common practice, right? Isn't it common sense that it's about why they should want to reschedule, not us? And we make it all about our center of our own universe. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I said, that is so right. So spot on. So we look at that. Think about it. Try it. Test it. You got something else, Nick?
Well, yeah, so then I was kind of stuck in between price and questioning and not giving her the price. So she was asking for a range and really trying to get me to give her a range. I gave her a really broad one, trying to price impressions, but was that too much? Should I have not even given her that?
Price impression is okay. As long as you're not, as soon as you start getting too much in the meat and potatoes, then you give them a reason, just email me the price, it's okay. Don't get too much in the meat and potatoes. Through the inspection, you can enter your measurements in, but on purpose, don't talk about design, color, choices, okay? Get a basic choice in there, basic things you're gonna do, but don't talk about colors or anything else until the next appointment. Give yourself a reason to come back. That make sense? Again, we're looking for reasons to present. Again, 100% of the time, if we got a reason to present, we're presenting. We want to keep that demo percentage up there high. But again, if we do run into that situation where we have the smart homeowner that went to homeowner school, we want to make sure that we basically set ourselves up for success and get a fair opportunity to earn the business. That make sense? Any other questions before we roll on? All right. Hopefully Mark fixed the volume on this thing.
I didn't even check it.
People have this reoccurring nightmare that there's something, some force that's got a hold of them and it's holding them down and they can't break free. No matter what they do, they can't break free from that force. Well, I'm here to tell you that that thing in your nightmare, that thing that's holding you back, that thing that's dragging you down, that thing is you.
There are two fundamental attitudes toward life and its sorrows. Those with the first attitude blame the world. Those with the second ask what they could do differently. It's much easier and much more gratifying to your basest desires to blame someone else for your misery.
You know what's so funny? We want people to make guarantees to us, but we're not willing to make guarantees to ourselves.
So true.
That's the problem with some of you. You always want to blame other people. You owe you an explanation. You need to look at yourself in the mirror and say, why are you only giving 50%? What's wrong with you? You need to put yourself on punishment. You need to tell you no more TV, no more snacks, no more dessert. No, you're working out now. You need to tell you that you owe you something. Every day I demand more for myself than anybody else could humanly expect. I'm not competing with somebody else, I'm competing with what I'm capable of. My number one competition is me. It's always you versus you. You gotta be the one to get up every morning, be disciplined, put in the consistent daily hard work, because that gains success. No coach, no trainer, no mentor, no boss can do it. You versus you. I value myself enough to give 120%, but don't do it. There is no excuse for not living up to the full potential. No excuse. You walk out of this one, you own yourself. I didn't get here making excuses. But change, I changed. And I stopped being a victim. I stopped saying I gotta wait for good things to happen to me. And I said I'm gonna grind. I'm going to fight. I'm going to work. I'm going to press forward. I'm going to learn. I'm going to do everything in my power every single day to become a victor, not a victim. Why? Because I owe it to myself. Ain't nobody stop me from me.
I love The Rock. So if you think about that, isn't that the story of our life, right? We are our worst or best enemy. You know, in the last basically Zoom meeting I did, we kind of talked about that, right? If you really think about how easy this business is, if I in 1 month just focused on one step and perfected one step, right? And I get it to where I can't get it wrong. I no longer have to think about it. And I can start focusing on the psychology of what I'm trying to read my customer. But if I'm still trying not to miss a commitment or miss a step or miss something in the process, I'm not going to be halfway paying attention to the things I need to, and the very reason they might be willing to buy might be sitting in front of my face, but I'm not able to pay attention to it. I'm too busy not trying to miss something. If you think about that, right? If there's 10 steps, and I perfect a step each month, so I take 30 days to become a master of that one step. By the end of 10 months, I've mastered my trade, right? Think about how simple that is. If you take 1 month and you master a step, and you keep moving on to the next step, at the end of 10 months, I have put in the work, and I gave 100%, I don't believe in 120, I gave 100%, and I left nothing on the table, so that way now I can focus strictly on the customer, the psychology in front of me, and I know I'm not making the mistakes that are going to force me to move away from the order. Think about it. How damn easy is that? That's the truth. Those people that are the top 20% in the industry that make 80% of the income, sometimes naturally just happen. Sometimes they outwork people, right? But I can tell you that our process works. You know, to have what we've done over the last several years, and the people that come in fresh that have never done this before, that they basically adapt to it once they learn it. I mean, Dave, I screamed at Dave at the top of my lungs in the middle of one of our meetings, right? Oh, you can't get the hell home. He goes, wait, give me a second to go at it. And I feel like it snaps something. Because if you don't find something that forces you to take advantage of it and want to grab a hold and get better than what you currently are today, then you are your own damn worst nightmare. Because then you start getting 50% and you get lazy. And then what happens when you get lazy? It's like when you get done with training, right? The sophomore stuff. Yeah. Come up where you're playing out of body, and then you start falling down because you got away from the things that made you successful, and you start finding faster, easier ways to do things that moved you away. And then therefore your income is satisfied. Your income drops. Your attitude goes away. Your confidence is lost. So the same thing goes into it. How do you get back to it, right? Mentor reminds us, get back to the basics. Get back to the basics. Perfect the basics. John Wooden wouldn't let you step on a court till you know how to pull up your sock correctly so you don't get a blister. Tie your shoes correctly so you don't twist your ankle before you're even able to go run out on the court. So think about it. That's what we're going to start focusing on now. For the next 10 months, we're going to perfect a step together. We are going to perfect a step together. We're going to bounce forward today to basically price roll out, because I feel like we're making some mistakes here, and everybody I keep working on this part with starts their numbers take off like crazy. So we're going to basically focus here first, and then we're going to rewind starting next week, and we're going to master the entry and warm-up standpoint. We're going to focus on the colors, whether it's the red, the blue, the yellow, the white. I'm going to sit here and as you fake walk through the door, and I'm going to be a difficult customer, and in front of the group, you're going to have to master it. And everybody's got to take a chance. We got 30 days to perfect that step before we move on to the next one. I want it so you're so isolated and so identified. Every time you walk into the door, you know exactly who you're dealing with and how to sell them. By the way, in that, I'm going to start teaching you NLP. We're going to start talking about eye movements, basically learning if they're visual, audio, and how to tell your kinesthetic customers. We're going to take this shit to the next level. Does that make sense? We're going to take this shit to the next level. You want to be a master of the trade? You want to get good as you can? You want to make basically more money you ever made? This is where we're going to start. And I realize that I haven't done this. Let's segment into one step till we can't get it wrong. So we're going right back through rookie training, and we're going to make sure we got that, and then we're going to add some mastery into it. Okay? And when you master it, confidence is high, and suddenly we can focus on what the customer is actually saying rather than not trying to miss anything. Doesn't that feel like what happens sometimes? We get in a little rut. We're trying to make sure we're checking the box and we're not missing anything. I hate box checkers. What it means if you're a box checker, you're not prepared, right? You mentally aren't there because you're mentally thinking about what you have to miss. Remember, 8-11 receptors of the brain are based off fear, 3 are based off gain. If I'm fearing missing something, I can't concentrate on what I'm trying to gain because I'm too busy focused on what I'm not going to do. I'm fearing everything. So again, let's talk about today. You know, every morning this happens. Every morning in Africa, a gazelle wakes up. It knows it must outrun the fastest lion or it will be killed. Every morning in Africa, a lion wakes up. It knows it must run faster than the slowest gazelle or it will starve to death. And it doesn't matter if you're a lion or a gazelle, when the sun comes up, you better be running. So again, so true. So true in our industry. So true in the sales department. So true in the world, right? You know, that old cliche, right? It doesn't matter what you did from yesterday, what are you doing today? Right? That's kind of where we set into it. That's how you create that income. It's called consistency. So again, we have to make sure consistency is where we're at. And the only way to get consistency is to have perfect practice. Before we get there, and we get into today's message, today's role play. And today we're going to do a little different. We're going to put the hot seat up here. Okay? We're going to have a hot seat. No doing it at your tables. There's going to be a hot seat. And the hot seat's going to be up here. We're going to project it up. We're going to project a job on the board, and you're going to have to basically present the investment, and you're going to have to close down. And if you're not doing what you need to be doing, I'm timing out and somebody else is coming up. And we're timing up and somebody else is coming up. We're timing up and somebody else is coming up. We're going to practice till we can't get it wrong. Okay? So again, no more basically attaboy Johnnies. There's no more good try Johnnies. It's execution. That's what we want right now. So 6 parts to condition environment, right? 6 parts to condition environment I want to talk about. Doesn't matter if you're doing bathrooms. Doesn't matter if you're in windows. Doesn't matter if you're doing doors. This condition and environment, you can break it down to 6 parts that you have to make relevant in every single freaking appointment, okay? This job is really simple once you learn to master your craft. If you don't master your craft and you don't know where you're going, you're trying to run 100 miles an hour one direction that might be in the wrong direction. And if you start practicing and you're not paying attention, you're not focusing on the right things, and you're focused on practicing the wrong thing, that becomes a more ingrained habit than the right thing, right? Perfect practice makes perfect execution. Perfect practice makes perfect execution. If you practice the wrong thing over and over again, like a golf swing, baseball, target practice for Ryan back there shooting the bows, unless you're a lucky bastard like me, does a Robin Hood on his first time out ever. But that was luck. But on the other hand of it, we kind of roll the same thing. So first, condition environment. The framing material, or panels if you're dealing with basically the bath side, okay? Whether you're doing the cooler panels, bath wrap panels, where you're dealing with fiberglass, basically Duracast, polymer, or basically the Architect series, right? Which is DuraGuard. So we look at those panels on there. Why on earth, when you're looking at that, why is what you're talking about relevant to the condition and the environment that they have inside the house? Why are you selling it? Why are you offering it? Why is you the professional, once you're done filling up and hearing what they feel like the problems are in the house, why is this your professional recommendation? Why are you giving it? Why are you resting your reputation and your sales license on giving that? Think about that. You got to take this crap serious. To be the best, you got to understand why, right? Why is your recommendation there? Why is that relevant to their condition, the environment? If it's 150 degrees on the side of the house and I take a thermometer, basically, and I put it on the side of the house and I see it stinking hot, why would I offer Duracast? Why would I offer polymer? Why would I offer some of the other different lines that we carry? And why is that relevant and unique to their situation, right? Is everyone's house sitting in the same plot of land, hidden by the sun in the same area? It's not, right? Is every bathroom in the same condition, same product set inside there? It's not. So again, we have to make sure we're mixing in why what you're showing is relevant to what their needs, wants, and desires are, right? And what the damn condition environment is. Maybe they don't know it. Maybe they've been talked to by another rep that made them think one way. Maybe they've been talked to by a friend or a family member, right? Some of the best or some of the worst advice you take is from friends and family because it's a third-party biased decision, right? Glass and windows, right? Or basically could be a shower door. You take the glass side of it. Why is what they have not doing what they needed to do? And why in your condition, the environment, is that glass relevant? It's windows. Is it the argon gas inside? Is it the nitrogen? Is it basically not have any in through there? Did it not? What year was basically printed on the old window? Are they transferring hot to cold through? Is there an insulation value? If it's shower door, basically, or is there grime and basically buildup on it? Is it low iron glass? Is it not low iron glass? There's so many different things you can look at, right? But again, if I'm by this window and it's coming in and it's freaking hot, you can feel the heat come through here. Is there any way with the current window this way that I'm going to turn down an air conditioner to make a difference on the outside? Am I ever going to stop that heat from coming in? So Einstein's definition of insanity is what?
Keep on doing the same thing.
So eventually when SDG&E hits that 28% gas hike, am I helping the cause? Am I hurting it by keeping what I have? I'm not doing anything to stop what I'm currently doing now. I'm allowing that to take place and overtake it. And if I've got a $400 utility bill, and I know for doing nothing else, I'm adding $118 to my utilities without doing anything to fight that, how much a year did I just add? Right? How much a year did that just add to my my utility bill? And do you think it's going to stop there? Again, if you don't do something to get back ahead of it, it's going to eat you alive. It's one of the thieves, right? So why, in the condition, the environment they have, why is that relevant? Some people don't know. They just think the utility bill is that way because the utility bill is that way. If they don't know that weather stripping or basic glass or things like that are relevant to the situation, they don't do it. If you don't understand infiltration, conduction, convection, solar heat gain, and you don't know how that kills your customers inside the house, and you're not educating them when they're out here, they don't do windows every day. And if you shortcut them, aren't you beating you? Isn't that you beating you? Aren't you your worst enemy at that point? Because you failed the customer, and you didn't live up to our reputation, was to be the best, right? Did you master your craft? Installation. Why is a certain install needed in that area? Why would we need a dream style reflash? Why would we need a new installation? Why would we need a full frame on a wood window? Why? What's the difference? Why is this relevant? Why is this so unique to this situation, in this condition, in this environment, on this house, that sits in no other plot of land just like this one in the entire United States? It is unique. Would you agree with that? If I got two same floor plans sitting right next to each other, do you think they're both shifted and racked the same way? Do you think they might be a 16th inch to an 8th inch difference out of everything? Do you think the framer was that spot on? The drywall guy was that spot on? The basically guy that flashed in the roof, everything else is that spot on? If so, you don't understand construction. It's impossible. So no two houses are ever exactly alike. So why would installation superiority and what we have to do to correct issues and challenges on this unique situation, same thing as a bathroom, unique situation that they're dealing with in here, why is that relevant? And why are we talking about it? And why is it building value? Remember, it's like Jenga at the end. I got my value blocks. How many blocks are standing up by the time I'm still done? That's a big deal, right? So we have to make sure we're making a big deal on the installation. Next, measurements. We take the measurements of this, right? You realize cheap companies like Window World force you guys to take all the exact measurements, right? Force you to take all the exact measurements of everything, and that's what they order the windows off of? How would you feel if you had to do that? Some of these complicated measures that you go out onto, if you didn't have somebody that's a trained professional. By the way, our guys still make mistakes, but they're pretty damn good, but they're pretty good, damn good at that measuring side. So we take that, we take it for granted. There's a lot of companies that can't find a good measure technician because this is not like going out again and buying a television. If I take this television, as long as my wall measures out correctly, and I take this home and I hang it on my wall at home, isn't this going to work the same way it does at home that it does right here? Isn't it? How about this table? I took this table and I wanted to take it and put it down. I wanted to put it in a room in my house and I want to use as a poker table. As long as I measure that room out and I take this table and I put it inside there, is that going to work the exact same? It is. I know what to expect when he gets home. There's no risk. There's no surprises. But a window or a door or a bathroom, houses are not made to be torn apart and put back together again. They don't think about what when they're doing the building. So every time you have to deconstruct a house and remove a product that was not designed to be taken out of that home, and you got to put a new one in, isn't there a ton of variables that come into place? You got stucco, you got drywall, you got trim, you got flashing. You got all these different things that have to be done correctly because if one isn't, it could create a big disaster, right? And if this thing isn't measured to the exact specifications that's needed to make that job successful, and it's half inch or quarter inch off, don't you think you might be mad with the outcome? Again, the condition and environment you're putting us in here, look how racked it is. I'm glad I'm not the measure technician here. And you have to be glad you got San Diego's best. Remember, Union Tribune didn't make that. The consumers of the entire San Diego market, 3.5 million people, surveyed, and that's why they chose us to be the best, because we're good in unique situations just like this. But if you don't build up that story and make it sound unique and special, then a measure technician is a measure technician. Everybody's got one. What about the detail? What about the order technician? What about basically the way it's shipped to your house? How about the way it's carried? If I got a patio door and I lay that thing down flat in the bed, or basically an entry door, and I lay it set off to the side, it gets shipped to that, and it gets driven out to the house, just from the showroom to the customer's house, that can create a warp. That can create a sagging. That can create a reveal problem. So again, if I'm driving just 10 miles down the road with a door that's not packaged or set properly, I've just voided my warranty before it even started. So again, making sure that people are trained the right way to set that door straight up and down and strap in is a big deal. So again, that measurement side is gigantic. So we got to make sure we're making a mosquito an elephant, right? We're making a mosquito an elephant, because truly at the end of the job, for it to be a successful job, that's got to be turned into an elephant. Warranty and service. Service after the sale, right? Isn't that what people are scared of the most? Warranty and serviceability. You know, we have Javier, which goes out and people cook him dinner, and he goes out and buys things for customers because he feels obligated and loves them. Now, I don't rest our laurels on a bunch of service stuff, but if something happens, it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when something's going to happen to go into a door or a bathroom. You take it's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. So don't you want to make sure the company that you choose is going to be here a couple years down the road? And you take, unfortunately, some small mom and pop shop, or some people that get a good idea to start a business, and they're trying to basically start a business, and they're writing checks out of their own checkbook. A lot of them are mixed in with their personal account and their business account, because they're bozos and don't know what they're doing. Realize 96% of all contractors sell in 5 years because, number one, they don't know how to balance the budget. Number two, they overspend in advertising where they don't know what they're buying. Number three, they don't know how to control inventory. Number four, they don't buy things for the correct price. And number five, they don't track their expenses. Think about it. There's a lot of things in there that can create a disaster in your basic life in a hurry. And if I'm subcontracting a guy and I'm buying from a distribution center, and that distribution center didn't get paid, or that subcontractor didn't get paid, what happens to the customer's house? There's a lien, multiple liens put on. And then they could be sued. They could be sued just for allowing you to do the work. Because again, you didn't put yourself in a position to put yourself up with a good company. Other than, think about some of these houses we work on, right? Where we're hanging halfway out the side of the world, trying to sit there and install a window. We got boom lifts. We got basically scaffolding that goes up. Think about this. You know one of the biggest tricks that home improvement companies do? Is they go on January 1st and they buy an insurance policy. And that insurance policy they buy says it's good for the end of the year. Well, guess what happens February 1st? Out of all the bills they have to pay, that's the one they don't pay. Because they got the certificate insurance they can show you. Unless you call the insurance company to validate it, which most people won't, then basically they're never going to know. But if they slip and fall and hurt themselves hanging off the side of your house, or they twist their back walking up and now their workers' comp insurance no longer covers anything, who do you think they're going to come after? The homeowner, right? So again, there's a lot of risk involved in doing a project like this. Because remember, a window door is an inside and outside model, right? A bathroom is one of the most used rooms in the entire home, where people walk in there. It's a good or bad decision on the way, the appearance, the way it's going to perform, and the durability of everything we talk about. So everything has a spot. So again, appearance, performance, and durability. That's what we look at. The appearance. Again, does it look like it belongs to the home? Right? Performance. Does it have energy saving features, or basically be mold resistant, whatever it might be looking at to it? that is going to basically do what you need it to do for the entire time you live in the house and not just fail in a short period of time. Durability, which is the hardest to achieve, right? And probably the toughest, especially in an environment and a condition like what we're dealing here in direct sunlight, stuck into stucco, and basically what you got your temperature variances through here, when everything's wrapped, this could be a good or bad decision. And unfortunately, how many times do you ever do this project? Just once, right? So again, you hear the passion coming out of my voice? This shit's acting, ladies and gentlemen. It's acting. When you're in a house, you're the actor. You're going to go out tomorrow and you had one shot, and they're going to pick you to do basically a movie that was going to film out next month. And if you landed that one part, it was worth basically $7 million. How hard would you work to perfect that? How hard would you work on your inflection? How hard would you work on mastering that script? Or would you just go up down the day and try to read from the paper? You look like a reject. Again, you're dealing with professional people out there. To be the best, you have to be prepared, right? So again, mastering that situation, mastering that step, that's how we get good at this stuff. That makes sense? Unfortunately, we like to try to, we switch brands, and this is really hard, and our price point's up there, and, man, financing, whatever it might be. That's you versus you, right? That's you in between the 6 inches between your ears, which means you're overthinking it. Stop. Control what you can control, and make sure you're mastering each step. Again, 10 months. Over the next 10 months, at the end of it, as long as you can hang in there and you keep your numbers up where they need to be, you'll be here, and you will be great. So again, 10-month journey starts today. So we're going to go through now, and we're going to do a closing role play. Okay? So I've asked Mark to put together a couple different scenarios of where we're going to get up to here, and he's going to take some homeowners out in the hallway and tell you only under what conditions and circumstances can you buy. And then we're going to set the team up here to take them through the investment and work on trying to close. And remember, if we start to fall down or mess up, we time out, somebody else comes up. We time out, somebody else comes up. We time out and somebody else comes up. Because again, to get it right, we've got to master our craft, right? All right. Are you ready? I repeat, are you ready? Rock for show, pump for dough, here we go. All right, Mark, bring it up.
Okay, just do 3.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's see here. Why don't we, who wants to be a homeowner?
Take one of the back guys to be a homeowner.
Back guys? Okay, good idea. So let's do JC, Sean, and Mike's not here. Who am I missing?
I don't want a back guy to do the presentation.
No, for the home.
Yeah, for the homeowner. Yeah.
I need a bath. Who else is bath? Oh, Mike, how's it? Homeowner? Homeowner.
Look how we all can live together.
Rumble.
Game on, ladies and gentlemen. Action. Play the camera. Play the camera. Play the camera. Get your stretch back out.
Oh, I have, for my table. I can, put a hot water bottle with that. I have, this is a cash sale on Saturday. And it is the, tickets on this end, usually the homeowners association, where a lot of people, all 5 of mine. So, you've only got the checkers in this, if you wanna waste it. Are you missing something else? I mean, luckily, it's just, they're not in homeowners.
Well, there's plenty of those. No, no, no.
Where the hell did everybody go? They sort of left.
They're scared.
They're scared.
Put me on that list. I'm scared.
Thank you.
Are you inside me or what?
Me? No. I'm going to go. Lay down for that.
Who's up first, Mark?
I'm not sure. Dustin's picking the salespeople. Oh, for you guys. Why don't you go first?
Stand up and lay down.
So what I'll do is, why don't you, if you want to just grab a seat up here, or you guys can stand either way.
Who's gone now?
Sean will go first.
Yeah. Just say no, Sean.
Just say no. Sound like Nancy Reagan. I mean, I'm an old part.
We'll wait on a couple more people to show up. Hey, Justin. You want to start, or you want to wait for everybody to get back?
I'd like everyone to be back. Where are they at?
Bathroom probably.
I saw somebody didn't check out.
I like this.
And then Dana.
Dana's for back.
Yeah.
Until they go home.
Okay. So who are we missing? Cynthia.
She's gonna make it forward.
There's Matt. All right, I think we're all back. All right, for those that are going to be salespeople, Dustin will pick you. But just to let you know, this is the project, 7 windows. They're going to be 7 Impervia windows, black finish, sun defense glass, and the dream style reflash, plus 1 Impervia sliding patio doors, 95.5 by 79.5, black finish, black hardwood. Try to make it as easy as possible. So this is the style and design the homeowner wants. You've got, I go on the assumption you've already got all the commitments. The only thing you might want to do is just kind of touch a little bit on the resolution, pre-close, and then you're rolling into price. So what I did is I've already built the project.
I want Nick up first.
Okay.
Look at that first.
So, although it says the littles, basically it's Sean. He's your customer, single homeowner.
Sounds about right.
All right. So you got your Impervia windows, you got your door, and you got your reflash. You got your 1-year price. So I'll let you kind of go through that. You got your 25% off at $26,475. Green Line Plus, $25,151, and Green Line is $23,828. And so, however you want to do that, I'll kind of give it to you at this point.
7 windows, 1 door, black.
Black and black.
All right, very good. And skip the romance. You said just get into the resolution and the pre-close.
Yeah, just assume that he's agreed to everything. And
Okay.
then I would just do the pre-close and then write it.
Okay. All right, Sean. So this is
You guys know, but time out. You guys know how important the romancing part is, right?
So we're not doing this here then?
I don't want, just for sake of time, I want to focus on the action, but again, if you're not romancing, you're dead. Because what happens is this is your last chance. Think about like you're gonna go into a courtroom, right? Before you give the final statement, before you ask the jury for their conviction. This is your closing argument. If you don't rebuild back up the project before you deliver what that is, and you've rebuilt everything, taken them back to the pain, and how your solution's taking care of all their pain and why it's unique and everything that comes in the package through there, then when you show the price is always gonna be too much money. But again, if I make it sound bigger than as big as it is, and as unique as it is, then again, when I drop that investment out, it's gonna make that number feel a lot smaller. You have to make sure you romance. If you don't do it, you're dead in the water, because you're gonna be too much money every time. Again, remember, when list price comes out, that tells you how you did, by the reaction.
all right. Cool. So Sean, this includes everything. This is tear out, removal, installation, the windows, taxes, the whole works. So this is everything here. And since we found the right color options and the Duracast material, the sun defense glass, all is a fit. Sounds to me like the only reason we wouldn't do this would be the price or the payment. Is that fair?
Yeah, I'd just like to know the price.
Okay, so that's it and nothing else. It's coming down to the price of the monthly.
Yep.
Okay, all right, let's hit the go button here and see what we got. All right, so for everything we have to do on your project, the total comes out to $35,300. And can you see how with everything we have to do on your home, from getting upstairs to installation in and out, how we hold that to be a good value?
I guess.
Okay.
That's a lot of money.
Yep, these projects aren't cheap. And so we're not asking you to pay that because you did call off of this promotional offer, which is the best I've ever seen us have. This is 25% off. So that's going to equate to a big savings for you, $8,825 in savings, which now brings your investment to only $26,475. And when people do these projects with us, there's pretty much 2 ways they'll go about it. So there's a 12 months, no interest, no payment option. And that gives you the freedom of a year just to do it how you do it. You always want to pay before that year's up, or else they're going to, there's no going past a year on that one. And then what more of our savvy customers do is take advantage of a comfortable monthly. And so in this case, it would be $564. When it's time to do this project, does one of those seem like a better fit for you? The no interest versus the monthly option?
Well, the 26 is just too much, Nick.
Okay, so it's not the monthly you're worried about, it's the overall. That's the big issue.
I mean, that's the bottom line. Whether I pay it monthly or not, that's what I'm paying at least, right?
Okay. So just so I know, would we, at that price, could we eliminate the 1 year, the 12 months zero interest? Usually people taking on projects this size don't take it on in a year. Is that fair that we could maybe eliminate that as an option?
Sure.
Okay. So when you're doing a project this size, did you have a portion of money that you set aside? Most people put 10 to 20% down. Is that something you considered?
Well, I didn't consider a project this size.
Okay. Coming into it, you thought this was going to be what were you thinking?
I mean, gosh, at least half of that is what I was thinking.
Was that from talking to neighbors or internet research, or how did you come up with that?
Mainly, well, my budget was kind of dictating where that would lie.
Okay. So there is ways to do this for less, but there's always a give and a take, right? So you're right on the ocean. And with a ton of sun on this west side, so we really can't go with that vinyl option, which is what would bring the price point down quite a bit. We covered that. And so
I agree.
So to do this thing right and not have to do it again, you are looking at a larger project than you originally thought of. Do you have a chunk that you could put towards this and do a split to where we could bring this monthly down to something closer that would be in your range?
Well, I mean, I was planning on, I put in a couple thousand down, I suppose, but it's still out of my budget.
What is a better monthly? If this is 564, if it was more like say 350, is that a spot that we could be at to?
Well, it doesn't, I mean, frankly, it doesn't really matter. 7% interest rate is bonkers. So that's not even, I tend to pay everything off. So that's not even going to really play into this.
Okay.
That chunk is just, that's too big a number for me.
Too big a number. What would you change on this project? Because there's kind of three things that separates us. And so we've been over it, but I'll just go over it again. It's the subcontractors. So we're not bringing in any subs. The warranty includes installation, which is rare. So most installations are just most warranties are just product only. And then we're not doing that retrofit installation where we're cutting a corner, leaving the old frame.
Nick, I think you've got everything that I would ask for in that home improvement project. Just doesn't fit in my budget.
Okay. So what of those things could you eliminate to bring this down? Or are all those things important to you?
Those are all important to me.
Okay. So potentially with if you went another route and got a cheaper option.
I'm out. Jason, already know the answer. Okay, she's one of the homeowners.
She's a customer.
All right, analyst. All three different.
She already knows.
Shouldn't have opened her mouth.
My bad.
So do I just,
Real quick, I'm out. So far.
do you want me to just pick up where he left off?
Yeah.
Okay.
Time out before he goes in there. What did he do good? What did he done better than what he did?
Could I first say what I think? I think what you wanted me to do quicker was just ask him what's a more realistic number that you can see yourself being at. Is it 22, 23, and then hit him with the initial visit?
I'm just gonna have you.
Yeah, give me tips.
And once he goes in, then I'll share it. There was about three things there, pretty big, that I saw that could have been done different to get to the point faster. Okay. Action.
So you don't want me to just start from here?
You wanna start over, or do you wanna start?
No, I'll go from here. So again, with the discount that we discussed, I know we had the promotional discount, which was like $770 off per door and $470 off per, $270 off per window. Because we had that anniversary promotion going on, rather than at $4,000 in savings, it actually saves you $8,825. Pretty big difference.
Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. So again, bottom line, $26,475. Again, most customers, they like to put a little bit of their own money into it initially, usually 10 to 20%. How much of the initial down payment were you comfortable making? How much of your own cash did you want to spend?
I could put $2,000 towards
$2,000?
the project. Yeah.
Okay. All right, so when we look at the options, so again, the sale price, 26,475, less the 2,000 that you're putting into it initially, it leaves you with a 521 a month payment on that 5-year option. Now you said that we talked about the 12-month no interest, no payment, but again, after that 12 months, it jumps to like 18%. Is this something that you were wanting to pay off within 12 months, or were you looking more at a longer-term finance option?
I mean, I'll pay it off as soon as I can. I'm not stoked about paying that kind of interest for sure. So it would get paid off very shortly, regardless of the option I went with. But I'm not really worried about that because it's too much money anyway.
Too much as far as the overall cost or the monthly payments?
The overall cost. I mean, that's how I look at things anyway. It's not like that's changing because I pay it monthly. It's just I'm paying it.
Depends on how long you pay it, right?
Right.
Yeah. So how much too much is that? What were you thinking? More around like 22, 23,000?
No, like half of that, try like 12.
Like 12,000. Okay. And how are you coming up with that $12,000 figure?
That was designed by my budget, not by my knowledge of Windows or anything.
Yeah, yeah. Well, based on what you know now, with everything that we went through, you can see that this is really the true value of what the project is going to be.
Oh, 100%. I mean, you guys have a smoking product with, all of the installation. I trust your company. You've been really great. Your presentation's been spot on. It's just over my budget. It's twice what I could pay.
As far as the monthly payment goes?
No.
Because you're paying it monthly, right? That was the idea?
I mean, frankly, that's irrelevant, Dan. I'm mostly concerned or primarily concerned with the cost of the project. You can break it up however you want, but the cost is the cost.
It's the overall cost. I gotcha. You're kind of limited to what, around that $16,000 budget?
Try 12.
About 12,000. Okay. Well, what a lot of our homeowners do actually is, a lot of times we come into a situation where you think that maybe it's a little bit more expensive than what you initially thought. So what a lot of our homeowners do is actually do it in phases. Maybe focus on some of the biggest problem areas initially to kind of maybe keep things within what the budget is. And then we can always come back maybe in a year or two and finish or complete the project. With that in mind, if there were any of the windows, we have 7 windows and 1 patio door, which of those would you say is the priority that need to get done right now and others can wait?
I mean, we definitely know those windows in the back have to be done. I mean, mainly I'm concerned about that budget. I'd love to get the sliding glass door in, but I know at least those 3 windows in the back have to be done. So,
okay.
I mean, ideally, if we could do those 3 and the sliding glass door for 12, then you'd probably be able to earn my business. But
all right, let's see which ones we're talking about. So you said the ones in the back. That was so we're taking off the kitchen.
Yeah, just pick 3 of them.
Sliding window, the big ones. These 3 little ones over here. Okay. And then here, let me make an adjustment here. So now we're only doing 3. Oops, that's 73. Okay. All right, so now, on slow computer. All right, so now we're looking at taking those 4 windows off. We went from the 36,000, which was the list price, down to 24,360. And again, with that anniversary promotion, we're able to factor in here, you're saving $6,090. And so now your bottom line is 18,270. Now, we can't necessarily get right down to the yeah, he's not really worried about the monthly payment stuff. So we'll include that $2,000 deposit. And so now the bottom line, 18,270 less the 2,000 that you wanted to put. So we're at 16,270. which again, ideally, I know you'd like to be around 12,000. You know, we're closer to like 26,000. This is kind of a compromise, win-win for both of us. You get the 3 windows that are the biggest problems for you, and also that sliding glass door. We can always come back in the next year or two and complete the project, get the rest of the windows in. And one of the unique things about us is that our policy is that once you sign up and become a customer, whichever discount you take advantage of, we'll actually hold on to that discount, that percentage discount, for a 2-year period. So you're not losing out on this discount by not doing all of the windows now. You'll still be able to take advantage of it within the next 2 years. So again, how does this sound? Is this a little bit more realistic to what you were thinking? Is this going to work for you?
Yeah, I appreciate you getting that far, but frankly, Dan, I'm stuck at 12. So, again, I love the product, love everything about it, but my budget's 12. So what can we do for that?
Well, what about taking out the patio door? I mean, the patio door, typically, as we talked before, is probably about 4 or 5 times the cost of an actual window itself, so, that's probably half the cost of the project right there.
Yeah.
You good with that?
If we have to.
Okay.
Again, the budget is running the show in
Yeah,
this case.
I understand. Well, and that's one of the nice things about the finance options too, is that it allows you to maybe get a little bit more than what you would be in a position to pay cash for, because we can stretch it out to a longer term. You can pay it off at will. If you're planning on paying this off within a couple of years anyways, or adding more windows within a couple of years, at least we can get you something that you can afford now, a comfortable monthly payment. And if you want to be more aggressive with it down the line, you can do that rather than even doing a phase 2.
Well, I'll do phase 2 once I pay this one off.
Okay, so let's get rid of the sliding patio door. It's still there. Why is it not going away?
Yeah, that's good.
That's good. Okay, there we go.
Add a couple windows.
Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do. Oops. Let's see where we're at here. Oh, no windows. There you go. It's like my first time ever using this thing. So let me take 2 off. There we go.
You can put one more in.
You want one more? Okay. And let's do this. So now we've got 6 here. So yeah, like we were talking about, the door itself is probably about the cost of like 4 or 5 windows. So if we take that patio door out, it'll make a big difference on the overall cost. And so now what I was able to do is actually take out the patio door and actually add back in 4 of the windows. So now we're getting 6 of the windows done, which tend to be the biggest problem, with the right solution for you. And if we're looking at the list price is $25.43, and then with that discount is $15,407. And it sounded like what you were saying earlier is really the only thing keeping us from moving together today. It's just the price you're paying, right?
Shooting for that 12, you got it.
Gotcha. So I mentioned earlier that we do have that efficiency discount if you do want to move forward on the initial visit, which ultimately everybody wants to be able to take advantage of that. So if we factor that into the equation, it actually saves you an additional $1,540. So now you're at $6,676 savings, and we're pretty darn close, $18,287. And again, if you put the 2,000 down, next. So you have your initial $2,000 investment. And then you would just be paying the 11,867. Now, how did you want to pay that 11,867? Did you want to finance it, or
I'll do the 12 months, no interest.
you want to do the 12 months no interest? Did that work for you?
I think so.
Cool. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Let's talk about real quick do that, right? So what are things that Nick and Dan did good? Let's talk about that. What are things they did good? I was a tongue biter back there. Keep my tongue bit. What are the things they did good?
They assumed they were reading the sale the whole time.
Like he had already said that we were going to get the sale, and you know, it's price of payment the only thing keeping us apart.
Did he miss a key word in that statement?
Is that it today?
Today. He missed the word today
Who?
when he asked her, is there anything besides price of payment so you can just move forward today? You can't miss that. That's, yeah, sure, there's nothing. Yeah, I just didn't think about it. You can't miss that word today. Today is a very important question. That's your truth serum, right? I'll say, yeah.
Not today, not before midnight.
Yep. But again, getting that word out today is big. You miss that one, it's not, that's the mosquito that's going to bite the hell out of you, right? That was a gigantic thing I missed. I heard up front. I wish you would have played with them more on that. I said, yeah, I know. I just need a couple more days to think about it. Okay. 2, give you both a little advice into it. When you went down and you started working down the investment, there were about 3 things I saw that could have been done different. When you started working down and you came to the point where he just told you that's not in the budget, you kind of got diarrhea of the mouth, right? Because it wasn't about justifying what's going on with the company and rebuild the value at that point. It was about the budget, right? He's telling you about the budget and nothing else. So you didn't make it about the money. You started going back and justifying everything that's happening again. It wasn't the fact that we needed to justify everything that happened. You were trying to get to that money nugget. Once you found the money nugget, you got to pay $1,800 more than what he was expecting to pay. But there was something in there. Because I was thinking in my mind the whole time, I was thinking, it's not like starter pack. I don't even know what they are yet. But starter pack. You even told me we go over there. So it was not about basic justification. It was there. And if you hang on sometimes too long, did you see him start to pull away? His body language shifted, right? So if you hang on too long at the wrong price tag, they're going to pull away from you. Because again, they don't feel like you're getting it, and you keep trying to justify it. Number 2, when you talked about the monthly investment, and you said, somebody asked you, could we take away the 12 months no interest, or we can take advantage of, paying monthly at $546? I'd say open an account. It sounds less scary. I like to open an account at basically $546 a month. When you talk to that thing is the problem is you didn't give a range. So you eventually say, well, what do you think? Like more like 450? Nah. You say, when they say that's just not affordable, well, what were you thinking? More like 450, 475? What were you thinking? Always give a range. Don't just give one number, give a range. Even if he tells you he's paying cash, we want to get him to commit that he's not paying cash, right? And then it's, this is the many years inside of it. You got something else to say, Dan?
Well, yeah, because he kept coming back as I was trying to talk about monthly payments. He kept saying it's not the monthly payments, it's the bottom line, it's the bottom line. So I went away from monthly payments because then, why are you guys talking about monthly payments?
Exactly right. We don't want to beat a dead horse. We want to push the payment. And eventually he did do 12 months no interest. You saw that. But he was to a fact, the language he was speaking to me was telling me he has the ability to pay cash because I was hearing it, right? Because when you think of it, you got to be sensitive about that. If he's got the ability to pay cash, why am I sitting here shoving a payment down his throat if it is cash? That's when you got to kind of know your customer, right? I did like that you guys kept going back to the payment. That's a good habit to be into. But again, make sure you listen. Secondly, the third thing is when he stepped back and he was like, well, I got a $12,000 budget. And that's all I got. These days, the budget dictates what I can do. So so he set it up to where he kind of gave his MO out. So again, when you're rolling through that, what I would say is, Sean, how long did it take you to come up with that budget, and how long have you been saving to basically put that inside of it? Because you don't know, he might be getting a bonus every quarter, every month, and you might find out that he can do a little more than he's expecting to do if he does a 12 months no interest. You could have said, well, it sounds like to me if I were here in 12 months from now,
you get the windows and the door done also, is that correct? Is that it, nothing else? Well, here, let me walk you through the Dreamstar model, and then go to 12 months, no interest. But you gotta set it up before you offer it again, right? Even though you talk about what the option is. That's why I don't make a big deal about the 12 months, no interest, no payments. I don't even over-explain it. I said, well, you can open an account, you can take advantage of 12 months, no interest, no payment, you can open an account at $564 a month. Let me ask you, how's that $564 a month fit in the budget? We want to make sure that that's the first thing that comes out, because we want to get them to eliminate that they're not paying a payment no matter what, and then we want to ask why not. Because if we don't do that, then we're leaving too many things on the table. So is he paying cash? Is he using 12 months no interest? Is he financing? Our whole deal in there is we want to funnel it down, right? We want to make our job easier, not leave an ocean we're trying to solve at the end of it. So it sounds like to me that, so if I heard him say 12, it would sound like to me if we were at 12 grand, would you have the ability to pay cash for that? Yes. So it sounds like to me if you had the ability to pay 12,000, that's really the number you want to stick to. Is that correct? Or real close to it? Yes. Nothing else? No. Now I know there's no way in hell I'm getting there with the gap I'm at, right? You did a good job of saying, a lot of our customers, take advantage of starter package. We're putting the worst first. I mean, hopefully we don't have to ask at that point what the worst is first. We already know it. But, setting them up. So it sounds like to me you're the type of person that wants to get started with something, and rather than just let this thing get out of control, right? We can get ahead of at least the, patio door and the windows or the windows. We did talk about those 3 windows in the back had to be taken care of no matter what, right? And the only thing I didn't like in there that's kind of disingenuous is when we get to that point where we're in the middle of negotiating, we pull down the avenue, and I know it's 12 grand. You ain't got much time to play around there, right? More time you play around there, you're moving them away emotionally rather than putting them in. Remember, I always tell you, you got one drop. You can show what that investment is. You got one more drop to play around with. So if it's at 12 grand, I'm going to ask them. So, before I show you with this investment package, if I can get to that 12 grand, Sean, that nothing else, can we go ahead and get your project started today? Can we do that for you? We'll do a great job. Yes. Now I know. Remember earlier I shared with you our cost savings program, right? I don't want to have to give you something to take it away. I want to make sure I come at you this absolute best next time. I don't want to play around. I'm sure you don't want me playing around either. Is that correct? So let's face it. If I throw something out here, you can tell me yes. And if you don't like it, you can tell me no, right? Cool. Now I've got my shot where I'm going to pop that cost savings program and give them that new package. And I'm going to know if I'm at that 12 grand or right at it. I liked how you stayed a little above it because you stuck in there and made him come up rather than you go down. Because that, sometimes you want to go under it rather than over it. But he's going to feel like he got a good deal because he got all the windows, right? So again, remember, after you drop that initial visit on after the coupon, you got one more drop to play around with. Anything more than that, you start taking away your what? Credibility. So we want to keep that credibility at high. So that's part of working that plan, yeah.
So, well, one of the things that I was,
and one thing, let me tell you one thing too.
Sure.
You guys kept saying, what about $2,000 deposit? If he's paying 12 grand, $2,000 deposit doesn't matter. He's paying it now, he's paying it later. That's not the part that's going to keep him from moving forward, right? On a payment, that $2,000 deposit is going to make a big difference. Absolutely. So I liked what you did by turning it there. I was just watching where holes were.
Just trying to get like a commitment to cash from something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can write a check for $2 grand. Okay, cool, $2 grand. Well, the other thing too, though, is that in a situation like this where it's like, hey, look, I'm going to come back in a couple of years and finish it. I mean, why not try? I kind of got the idea that you were wanting me to go to the starter package, or that's kind of what.
I didn't even know what it was.
Well, how it was set up.
Yeah.
But I mean, also too, it's like, hey, look, I mean, if you're going to pay off 12 grand in the first 2 years, we can do this longer term financing. You could be aggressive with it, but we can go ahead and take advantage of the discounts that you're getting now, and that's the other thing. Because a lot of time homeowners regret is once they start with the starter package, they figure they should have just done the rest of it all at once.
Mm-hmm.
To go back to try to get him back to that 26,000, and if he's gonna, and within 2 years, you're gonna pay.
Can I share with you one thing though? Just from Dave doing it so long, his verbal cues that he was giving you is telling you how to sell.
Well, that's
right?
why I dropped it. Yes.
Yeah, his verbal cues were telling you how to sell. So pay attention to those verbal cues because he might be like, oh, I don't want to finance shit, right? Until he knows he can pay cash for it. So he had his what I call comfort zone, right? So if you find that comfort zone, attack it. You knew where he's at. So To me, that, 5 minutes it took you to get to the comfort zone could have been 5 minutes and he could have started pulling away. That makes sense? That's the whole reason why I'm doing this, is because when we get into this, I noticed it on 2 times in a row, is when we drop that investment down and we start to allow it to negotiate, we start over talking. And it happened 2 times where we started over talking. And right through there isn't the time you need to justify. You need to be getting him talking, right? If I want to get him to loosen up any money, I need to start putting it on him, not me. Remember, it's not your fault what the investment is. It's his house's fault. He agreed that we had everything he wanted and needed, right? Now it's about how do you wiggle that money out of him. Yes.
So where did you get the cash to? Because he asked him directly, how much would you be able to come up with? And he said $2,000.
Yeah, he said that without blinking an eye. But earlier he said, I was thinking if my budget was around 12 grand. Well, good thing, anytime somebody gives you a dollar figure number, remember, listen, acknowledge, confirm, and respond, right? So listen, well, hey, that sounds great. Thanks for sharing that. Sounds like to me you put 12 grand, like at 12,000 was a number you were thinking about. So had we been at 12,000, would you have been paying cash today? Because I want to get that, I'm isolating the objection, right? He said 12 grand. So if I don't isolate that objection and make sure it's a real thing, no, I wouldn't be paying 12 grand cash because I don't have it. I only got 2 grand. Well, then it's irrelevant. Then you're going back on the payment again, right? But wouldn't I rather know right there at like halfway through the mark that he can pay cash at 12 grand? And that's his comfort zone? Yeah. If I don't identify that's it, nothing else, then I've left another ocean to try to solve. That make sense? All right, cool. Good stuff. All right, next. Mike Hauser.
Okay, so just pick it up where we've already romanced, we've done everything, I'm just flipping
Already
price.
romance, you're gonna pre-close and then jump into it. Sean, real quick, what would you have to ask? You were sitting there having it done. What would you have?
If someone gives me a number, I feel like it's in the bag. I have to figure out how to do it, and then that is nothing else. The only time that doesn't work is if they won't start, and then it's beating down the client issue, if there's one.
Don't forget when you're like 18 and they're at 15, don't forget to try to reduce to the ridiculous, right? Or throw in like what they're paying monthly on the utilities and try to get them to reverse engineer that number. It's $5 grand. You're gonna take $5 grand divided by how many months they're gonna live in the house, divided by 52, because you can take it divided by a year and take it divided by the day. And a lot of times they're just paying for a Starbucks coffee per day to have to go between windows they want to reserve and you cheap them out. So you can start reducing the ridiculous on there. It makes a big difference. Because sometimes they look at that number as a big number, not what it is over time. The last thing it is 3-5 years from now, and you're looking to replace the same windows you just replaced. And then you've got nothing different except for now you're going to tear your house apart again and put it back together. Does that sound smart to you? So here's what a lot of people do. Let me tell you the difference between you doing it wrong and you doing it right. I take $5 grand you know, they're gonna live in their house 3 years. I divide that by 3, and I divide it by 52, there's 52 weeks in a year. That tells them what they're paying out per week. And then divide that by 7, that tells them what they're paying out per day. And then you'll find that figure is very low. You know, if you take the average person on what they pay a month in insurance, it's anywhere between $800 to $1,500 a month that the average family pays for insurance, right? You take $1,500 a month, even $800 a month, times 12 months, that's $9,600 a year, right? You take basic $1,500, you're into the teens in thousands, right? 12 grand, $13,000. Divide that number by 52, and again by 7, it shows they're anywhere from $50 to $75 a day paying for that peace of mind insurance every day they wake up. At the end of the year, if they don't use any of it, they don't get a refund. That just stays in that kitty that they never see again, right? But why do they do it? Peace of mind guarantee, right? Let's talk about the difference between you tearing your heart and put it back together again is $5 grand. You know, that's not even half of what you pay a month for that peace of mind guarantee, what you're looking at, right? If I take this down, where you're already paying $50 to $75 a month, what's another basically $10 or $15 a month for just a year or for the next 36 months? Make sure that you get what you need and want to never have to do this project again. Let me ask you, John Murray, when's the last time you bought something that you never had to replace again? Again, so you start reducing the ridiculous, and big things happen because now they're not seeing $5 grand. They're seeing $14 or $7 or $3.46 a day. It starts looking ridiculous for them not doing it right. Go!
Right. Hey, Mike. Hi. Had your heart medication today?
Oh, why you ask that?
Because, man, this thing's going to be huge. But you already know that because we've been talking about that all day, right?
Right.
All right. So it sounds like took a look at your entire order. You've got everything that you want on the product. And then we talked a lot about, you told me that you definitely wanted to do San Diego reflash. You want to get those aluminum frames out of there.
Oh, yeah.
And you definitely would like to be able to do business with the #1 contractor in the country. Still there?
Yeah.
All right. So it sounds to me then like there's really not enough to get us started on your project the other than price for payment then, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So to do everything that you called me out for today, everything that we found on inspection, the total project for everything, tax, installation, everything, comes out to only $20,543.
How could it go down?
There's a window missing.
Well, let's just go with this.
No, it can't with my
20,543.
scenario.
Huh?
You have to include everything. Or my,
Go to the door back in, maybe.
It's at the door. The door's like 11 grand.
Okay, so I've got,
The windows. Oh, yeah. Didn't say it.
You just need to
Just save it.
redo the
Save it.
proposal.
Just didn't say it.
Or you can toggle on and off the proposal.
that should do it.
okay, thank you. So I go back into proposals.
You can go to proposal and then check it out.
Should be.
Yeah, it should be. Yeah, good man.
That's better.
Okay, all right.
I wanted to be 3.
Now it's only.
No, we'll start, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So to do everything that we talked about today, to come out and that we talked about on inspection, and all the product that we talked about, service warranties, everything. This includes tax, pricing, warranty, everything. So the total is only $35,300.
Wow.
Can you see with everything that we have to do on this, everything that we've been talking about all day, how we hold this as a good investment for your home value?
That's more than I want to spend.
Don't blame you. It's probably more project than you thought you'd be spending too, huh?
Yeah, taking out the frames and that, I understand that's more work, definitely.
Okay, so I'm not asking you to pay this. I'm asking you if you just understand how we value this as a good project, as a good value for the project with everything that we have to do with all the product that we talked about.
Still too much.
Too much for us to value as a good product or too much for you?
Too much for me.
Okay, I get this is too much for you, but this is a retail price. This is the one I told you that we hold for 12 months. So obviously, I don't expect you to pay this. Nobody pays retail. But we hold this for 12 months. Is this a good, do you see how we value this at this value?
Doesn't matter what you value, is what I value.
Okay, that's fair enough. So what would you value this project at?
I'm not sure. Didn't have any idea. You're the first company that came out.
Okay. So remember when we were talking about the cost versus value in that chart, and we were looking at the different frame materials on there and the different costs? And we looked at this, we talked about all these different values. We're trying to zero in. The reason we were talking about that is those are average prices in San Diego for a project. I mean, we're not making up these prices. Those are average prices for that, for everything you've seen there. And you told me that you definitely didn't want to do those 3 on there, and that you wanted to focus in on this project. You had a pretty good idea what that would cost. Has something changed? Are you thinking, in your thinking between
It's just
now
a
and
lot
then?
of money. That's more than I can spend.
Okay, so most people when I come to their homes, they have some kind of idea of what they can spend, even if they know what the project costs. Do you have an idea of what you can spend?
Not at this point, no.
So no idea. Okay.
No.
So when you do spend, if you do spend, are you planning on spending cash out of your pocket, or are you planning on financing this?
Oh, well, if it's, we probably finance.
Okay. So when you finance, when you say probably finances, like if you have, a lot of times when I go into homes, people have something put aside as a down payment or budgeted something for the project. Have you have anything, or you just start from
We're
scratch?
going to put 1,000 down.
Okay, so 1,000 down. All right, I'm done.
You're done. You haven't even rolled,
I don't know how to
baby.
manipulate this well enough to go back and start putting different numbers in. So I would have, let me tell you what I would have done. What I did is get him, first of all, to commit to either the guy's paying cash or he's not. Then I would have went to the thing you're doing with, is that nothing,
I wouldn't
nothing
even go,
else?
I wouldn't even go there yet, because you haven't showed them anything. You're making it hard to buy at that, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I wanted to try to get him to agree to that value.
We don't get to, you would agree to the value, but.
Absolutely.
It was good, like, you stuck on a minute, I think what happens, you start digging the horse, right? Because he's got his stance up, you're digging the horse.
But I think what he did though, just, I don't ever do that, like take that time to say, do you think that's a good value? Like usually, I think that was helpful to see that.
I think it was good, I mean, how he started out, I was just talking about here, was really good. He started out saying, well, you see right into it, well, let me ask you what changed. You didn't show you wanted this, and this. Let's see how Mark Lance does it.
So Mike, what I just heard was that you probably would want to make a monthly investment on your
Yeah,
windows
that's
and
what we
doors here.
discussed, yeah.
That's great. How did you find out about our company? Did you get a little mailer in the mail, or did someone knock on your door? Or, which I
In
only
the
discovered an hour
newspaper.
ago. Pardon me?
In the newspaper.
From the newspaper ad?
Yeah.
Did you maybe save that ad for me?
No, I put it on my windows because it's black. To block out the sun.
Very good, very good. Well, I've got a pretty good handle on what the actual current promotion is right now. Let's see what we can do for you on that price.
What you're telling me is reflected in updated.
And you'd mentioned before that if you started with this, you'd have about $1,000 to put down on this.
Yeah, that's what would be comfortable.
We can do that. We work some numbers in there for you real quick. So our retail price on this was 35,300, and with the current promotion we've got going right now, I can give you a 25% discount, and that boils down to $8,825. That's pretty good. That's a pretty good deal at that point in time. You said you also with your down payment, which was $1,000, that brought your project from the 35,300 to 25,475 at only $543 a month. Would that be in the ballpark for what you could swing every month?
Can I see that?
Sure you can.
You guys are good.
That's more per month than we can afford.
Okay. I've got different plans here. I also have a 12-month same as cash, but if that's a little bit much for you to chew on, I've got a 7-year and a 10-year. A lot of investors like the 10-year program, and I like it myself too. If you have another financial situation comes up, your transmission goes out in your car, kid breaks a leg or whatever would happen, where you have to have some ready cash, that's a really good way to do it. A lot of people don't stretch us out for the full 120 months that we have, but that brings it down to $306 a month, and there's no prepayment penalty. So at tax time or bonus time or a situation like that, you could of course pay it off much earlier. Does that sound like that fits your budget?
Well, it's getting close.
Yeah? I think right now we should work out the details, and welcome to the Pella family.
Not close enough.
What would be a good payment for? Maybe 200, 250? Would that work for you?
I think we could pull off 250, yeah.
Remember when I first came here and I told you about the different pricing policies that the company had and the same day incentive, the cost savings?
Oh, yeah,
program
that
we had?
was, how much was that?
Let's work that in. I can do that. Tax license, installation, warranty, everything else that we're going to need is $274 a month. I'd love to have your business.
That includes everything.
That's everything. Not a penny more.
What do you think, honey?
I love it. I love it. Welcome to the Pella family.
Reach your hand out earlier. Good job. Get that hand back in. All right. So let's talk about good, bad, and ugly. What's good, bad? What's good, bad, ugly?
Maybe getting an idea as to what a funding payment is a little bit earlier before you just start switching from 5 to 7 to 10. You know, how much too much is it? What do you think about the payment wise?
Small thing, you're saying years instead of months. So 10 years is a little scary.
Yeah, I like months too. Preference. I like months. Like I say 60 months, 84 months, 120 months. I think it sounds better than 10 years. 10 years? Yeah,
10 years is 120 months.
What's that?
120.
You'll make a house, yeah, you'll make 120.
You never see a car payment offered in, 60 months, not 5 years. It's always better to do it in months.
Yep. I 100% agree with that. Let's see, I fought them at Pretty Corporate like crazy, put it in months rather than years. They won't back off. Anyways, so let's go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, I love how relaxed Mark was. Like, he was just like, and then I love how he just reached forward, that was so bold. And that was so rude for you to just tell him no. But I thought it was,
He should have, but at the end of it, he should have done it again. Because after he had to go to, where he went real close to it, and there's $20 difference, you're gonna let $20 come between the windows you want, but you're gonna look in your color around. And basically, reach that hand out. Because it's hard not to come back and shake it. A lot of people, if they tell you no, shake your hand, it's not hard not to do it. And reaching out will do a good job for you. Can we go and get your project started today? That type of stuff, that matters. In the very beginning, I think, Dave, you created your own barrier right there. Right? You started with the investment side where you just had that list price. And I agree 100%. We want to basically get the commitment to value. That's a big deal. So, John Mayer, with everything we got, Mike, with everything we have to take care of today, obviously, this is, you've been dealing with this for 7 years, 3 years, however long you've been dealing with it. You see what everything you gotta do to take care of the problems on your home, take care of all the issues and challenges we did, to correct all that's only, 34,376, whatever the price is up there. You see what hold that value, take care of the project on your own? Well, no. Okay. So back for a second. Don't get back into it. I like how you step back. But I would never have that first page in my mind, that front page that just has the big fat number on it. Because it seems like to me that's going to get them to stall. I want to know that, it's easier for me to get that yes right here if they're setting on this because they're just doing discounts there. So if it works for you, right now your close percentage is where it needs to be, you keep doing it. But I like to have it up here because I want them to see that there is an initial savings and they called out the coupon, right? So I don't want to feel like I'm hiding anything. I'm trying to build trust and credibility here.
You put that 25% in right at the beginning?
Yeah, they told me, they handed me a coupon, which I should have found out
The
earlier.
first time that you will price to do it.
I want to make it easy to buy, not hard. Does that make sense? I want to make it easy to say yes, not hard. And the harder I make it, the more shut off it can be. Think about it, if I went today and you had $500 on your account, you had some in savings, but you don't want to touch your savings, you had $500 in your account, and I dropped the price of $30,000 for you, and I left the big $30,000 price tag just sitting there dangling in your face, you would shut down to the point where you pull away and realize you can't do it. I need to suck you in, is what I need to do to make sure we're pushing it. Yes.
Well, so the only issue with that though is that our coupon is $270 off per window, $770 off per door. And if we're gonna make it sound like we're giving them a better deal, we can't just drop to the 25% and be like, well, hey, forget what that says, I'm just gonna give you a better deal anyway.
Here's what you say is, before you set it up, right? You say, hey, gosh, you guys, we still had last month's promotion in here. Or hey, it's next month's our promotion. I don't know how the hell it's in here, but it is. If I still push it, are you gonna be mad if I send you more money?
Well, what I do is
So let me go ahead.
calculate it out.
Yeah, so let me go ahead and show you real quick what we've got. I think you're gonna love it.
Yeah.
My gosh, this is fantastic.
So my approach is always, well, based on the coupon that you presented here, the advertising here, it's gonna save you $4,500. But then, oh, well, hold on, we take a look. And then it's like, oh, it's actually $9,000 because then you get a better deal.
What I would do is I would show them the 25% is, then I would calculate what the difference might be. Because showing what they have dangling in front of their face, and showing normally with the current coupon call-up, this is what it would be. I can't believe that they have this on here already. They must have jumped the gun. So congratulations. That's going to save you, $8,436 off the project for the total investment out only, $24,746 what our savvy customers do. And they take an extra 12 months, more open account at $546 a month. Let me ask you, how's that $546 a month? It works, right? No, it doesn't. But I want to get to the payment, especially because you can kind of tell one through. You can look at their private ownership, the surrounding. You can kind of figure it out. I'm going to assume they want the payment anyways. But my whole deal is I want to get them to say yes at the coupon, at the base initial visit, because your eyes focus where I focus, right? After I go through here and I've got you focused on that top number, it's crazy when you start paying attention to it. Till I'm done talking, you don't want to go down because you almost don't want to be rude. So again, if I get you to commit that this price is a good value, or at least fair value, then that's what I'm trying to get. Because if not, the next price I go at becomes the real price. So if you're one of those, I call magicians, they go from list price to coupon price to have initial visit all three up at the same time, you lost all your value. You lost all your basically charisma, you got no place to fight. That's basically timid salesman have skinny children, and because if I go all the way down the bottom of it, and I got nothing left to go, I got no room to negotiate, the only thing I can do is negotiate with my commission dollars. We're taking so skinny that I'm fighting for my life right in there. And the second I make one mistake, it eats my entire fee for service. Okay? Plus, at that coupon price, if I don't have my cost savings program in there, I can fight like a dog. Remember, I need to get all my objections out right there. I need to have no more fighting room. All the fighting needs to be out before I get that. So that's it, nothing else, right? So had I been at 12,000 like the first one, would that be what it took to run your business? Mike shut down because it's 30 grand, and he's got a $250 budget, right? So I got a $250 budget, even though that might work on some, how many no's am I getting because they shut down before I start? Again, you gotta be careful with who you're dealing with, right? If I'm basically in a $500,000 house, which sounds pretty weird, so I'm saying $500,000 house, and they barely got a pot to piss in, and they're paycheck to paycheck, and I show 30 grand, and I'm fighting them on 30 grand, that's probably not the right fight to be taking. I'd rather fight them, I'd rather get them to agree that, you know, we're not asking you to pay it, but do you see the value and why that's what we charge? As you call out promotional discounts, which I've never seen, oh my God. They actually have our basic anniversary sale, which isn't until next month you're gonna see come out. So you're an early adapter, congratulations. So boom, and then literally, whatever it might be from that point. Can you see how that's an amazing deal? You know, normally you're only saving, you know, $4,300. Here you're saving $8 grand. It almost doubles your discount.
You think saying the next month discount you buy you in the butt, because I use that.
Not for the cost saving program. I would say the reverse.
The coupon value, I would say that's 30 month, that expires at the end of the month. If I'm saying it's next month, we're making it just get an extra month.
I can tell you that.
I say it's last month. Yeah. Last month was our third year. Wow, I can't believe it's still on the tablet here.
But they're gonna see a big advertisement come out next month. But exactly.
For August.
What?
When did we not utilize that?
Because Don Dewey had a baby and no I could control the advertising.
I mean, what anniversary? Your anniversary? Every 30-year anniversary?
It's been an anniversary sale in my life every month.
Every month. Every month. Hey, I'm gonna win.
Next year it's a 31-year anniversary every month.
It's a 30-year and 1 month anniversary.
So one of the things you gotta be careful of on that again is don't be scared of list price. Remember, if somebody does it, I would jog right back and Mike would get on that list price. And Mike, obviously, you know, you could share with me, you've been thinking about doing this project for 7 years or 5 years. You know, if we got into this 5 years ago or 7 years ago, do you think the expense would be what the expense is? Probably not, right? But again, because we've split it off a little bit, in addition, you know, we're asked to fix it into here. Now, we're not asking you to pay that because, but you do see how we found that a good value to take care of your project, right? I don't want him to shut down, but I want him to, I want him to wrap his head around, that's what it costs every day to do the project.
I know, Dustin, you said, you beat that into my head on that first price, and I don't, maybe something I'm.
Well, right now, what you're doing is working, so I'm just.
Yeah, let me just say this. So in my presentation, I hardly ever have anybody say no to me. That's not what value. And I would go back and confirm, I ask them to confirm that they really do believe that, and I get that because because what you said, because I want them mentally, when they go over and see the price that I'm gonna try to sell this thing at, I want them mentally to think, man, that's a heck of a lot cheaper than something that I disagree was worth the value. And it's just, then it's, for me, it makes my closing.
It's the right way to do it. If you're scared of list price, then the next price is real price.
So strategy wise, something that I do is that when they get to the whole cost versus value, like I already designed it, I know it's $36,000. I'll say, hey, look, your project is more the equivalent of like 18. I'll just cut it in half, you know, say, assuming like $2,000 window, if we're going $1,900 to $2,200 on there, and say, you know, your project is more equivalent of like 18 3 foot by 5 foot double windows, and then I'll do the math. 1,900 times 18 is this. 1,900 or 18 windows by times 2,200 is this. And it gives them a range. And when I get to this point, actually, based on everything that we've learned from the cost versus value and everything we talked about, and I've gone through all of the other things, it's a can you agree that this is the true value of what the project should cost? And also, too, to what Sean was saying is that, you know, I'll put it in there. I'll say, hey, it's like, you know, $33,000 to $38,000. Is that what you were expecting? And then they'll come back and say, no, you know, I was kind of thinking it was going to be like 20,000. But like you said, once you get a number out of them, you know, at least you have a better idea as to where
Let me ask you this. Thanks for sharing. I had that at 20,000. Is that something you'd be paying cash for?
Yeah, or yeah, whatever. But I mean, at least it gives them a more realistic expectation to say, hey, look, it's 35,000. You agree?
The faster you get that out of them, do you see what I did right there? The faster you get that out of it, I'm removing an objection. Right? I know that I funneled out the point. I don't have to figure out if you're paying cash or financing. I'm removing it. That's what's so cool when you start. See, the problem is when you guys are going through your closing stuff, you're so busy going through the process, you're not listening. Right? You're not listening. You have to slow down. Like in the close, One of the biggest reasons why people don't do as well on the close as they could is because they don't slow down. You always got to take a deep ass breath. When you get into there, first objection, take a deep breath. What the hell are they really trying to tell me? Or you go blurt out the answer. Don't figure it out, right? Listen. Pause 4 seconds, right? I'm gonna give you guys more shit to worry about, but pause 4 seconds. Repeat the question back. So thank you for sharing that. Sounds like to me, that's the only reason we're not moving forward, right? Well, let me ask you, had we been at 20,000, would you be paying cash for that, or is it still something you'd have to take advantage of monthly budget program? Well, we couldn't pay cash for that now. So it sounds like to me, a project like this, you have to want to open an account and pay it monthly. Yeah, cool. I kind of know where to go, right? I've taken one part of that objection, I've just funneled my pie down a little bit more, right? That's the purpose of when you get into and you start listening, like one of the role play we were talking about, right? So a lady in the middle of the price impression says, it's one of the ride-alongs I did, and she goes, do you use subcontractors? Okay, and he goes in, Rick goes in, no, we don't use subcontractors, and you probably don't, blah, 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 blah. So instead of going back and asking the simple question is, you know, I think it's actually we're playing around, that was it, in the role play session in Mass, they say, instead of saying, that's a great question, thanks for sharing, why do you ask that? And then you're getting what her objection is, right? She says that it's ownership. You say it's suspect. And sometimes we make it way harder than it's gotta be, right? That's what I'm saying is, you know that process in and out, which we're gonna focus over the next 10 weeks. Then you can focus on what the customer's trying to tell you, right? Because you already know this shit inside out, and you don't have to think about it. And it's just second nature. And then you really focus on what the customer's trying to tell you. And you're like, is that bullshit? Is it real? What exactly do you mean by that? Why, this is what I mean. Okay? So if that's what you mean, where did you learn that from? Like some of you guys went back to and asked it. Well, I learned it from this, or I learned it from cost versus value, or I learned it from my mom bought windows in Arizona, or my sister bought windows in Colorado, and that's what she did. Okay? So you can then kind of learn on where their evidence is coming from, right? So again, slowing down and figuring out the why. Sometimes we make our job way harder. Like up there watching, which is what I'm doing before we get up. What time is it right now?
Yes.
Okay, we'll wrap up. But one of the things I keep watching up here is the second we got an objection coming, we start getting diarrhea in the mouth. So again, focus on taking a deep breath before we get into it. What? I made 10 months, actually a month, 10 months.
So are we gonna just keep practicing?
We're gonna keep practicing until we all agree that we got it down. We'll check that box and we'll move on to the next one, okay? So what I wanna do on that, we're gonna end up. But again, hopefully we took something away from the day that'll help us out in the field, yes? Yes. Okay. All right. Who do you think gonna beat SoCal?
Nobody.
Oh my God, one more time, that was weak. That was weak. I can't put up with that. Who do you think gonna beat SoCal? Nobody. All right, have a good day. All right, man. Hey, that's, you're doing that right. All right, so that was perfect. But you're not getting it. Can I jump on it here?
Yeah. Oh, thanks, man.
Charlie!